Radheshyam Japo Hare Krishna Hare Ram Jay Sri Radheshyam and welcome. The Life of Love, biography of Sri Srimad Radharaman Charan Das Dev, the veritable embodiment of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's universal religion of love, by Dr. o.b.l. Kapoor. Namaste Gurudevaya Sarvasiddhi Pradayine Sarvamagala Rupaya Sarvananda Vidyayine. Sri Chaitanya Manovistane Stapitan Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Vrishavana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. When Bhakti was flooded by ignorance, arrogance and materialism, on that time Sri Radharaman appears as a luminary in the horizon. Now we worship to Sri Radharaman. The life of love. Ceremony is connected with Lord Jagannath. One day, Babaji Mahasaya was at Jagannath temple. The dup was over. Dup is the term for the dinner service of Lord Jagannath. A devotee came forward and offered to treat Babaji Mahasaya and his party with Mahaprasad. At this, Babaji Mahasaya said how good himself takes care of his men when only they desire to sing his name. How much more he will give to those who give themselves up to him? He is so kind, hard-hearted we do not bend our knees in reverential regards to his boundless love. We are not melted with love in loving recognition of our tender relationship with the God of love. They sat at the Pangat, and Babaji Mahasaya began the Dwani. The Pangat implies a band of devotees partaking in company of the Mahaprasad of the Lord. It is customary to recite prayers of devotional songs in the course of the dinner, and these go by the name of Dwanis, or spontaneous outbursts of devotional sentiment with natural flows from the lips of the devotees. They sat at the Pangat, and Babaji Mahasaya began the Dwani in the middle of the service of Mahaprasad. They were in high glee as they partook of the Mahaprasad in such company and retired to the shade of an extensive tree outside the gate of the Gandhija Mandir. It was afternoon. Babaji Mahasaya was seated at ease beneath the tree. Men came in crowds to see him there and hear him speak. An old gentleman asked him why Lord Jagannath came to have the curious shape, which is not to be met with in any other image. Babaji Mahasaya bowed low and proceeded to answer him in the following way. One night, Sri Krishna was asleep in his royal seraglio at Dwarka. When the queens heard him sigh and cry out, Where are you, my beloved? Where are you, my Radha dear? With these words muttered in the midst of his sleep, he began to weep, and he wept so bitterly that Rukmini touched his feet and roused him from his sleep. They asked him why he was weeping and from whom. Sri Krishna felt ashamed and simply said that he did not know and could not remember why he wept, and he went to sleep again. The queens, of course, were not satisfied with the evasive answer. They talked among themselves, "Well, who might this be, this fortunate lady, who has captured the heart of our Lord? She must be 1,000 times more fair and far more accomplished than us all. We are all princes. Royal blood flows in our veins. We are in no way inferior to any woman in the world. How come it then that our Lord is hopelessly in love with another lady? This is very strange. He thinks of her by day and dreams of her at night. Who is this fair one that casts us into the shade of winds and wins his heart?" Rukmini said she had heard of one Sri Radha, a cowherd girl in Vrindavan, with whom their Lord was in love when he was there. He might be thinking of her. Perhaps he could not forget her, even in their company. Devi Satyabhama, the beloved queen of Sri Krishna, the most spirited of all his queens. Devi Satyabhama will not listen to this. She said, "But then, she is after all a cowherd girl. It is not possible that our Lord will prefer Shepherdess to the galaxy of princes in his own harem. Let us do one thing. There is Mother Rohini here with us. She was there in Vrindavan. She knows it all. Let us go to her. She will enlighten us on this point." Morning came. Sri Krishna washed himself, performed the morning service, and attended the court. He came back in due course, sat at the dinner with Uddhava and his friends, rested for a while, and then went out again to hold the afternoon court. The queens had their leisure at this time and availed themselves of this opportunity to have their problem solved. Their feminine vanity was wounded and feminine curiosity raised to the highest. They will give themselves no rest till they heard all about Radha and her love for their Lord. They ran to Mohini. Told her what had happened, and entreated her to relate the romantic tale of the love play of Vrindavan. They ran to Mother Mohini. She agreed, but she enjoined them strictly to be on their guard against the approach of Krishna and Balaram, who would be inevitably drawn to hear the tale, for she could not, as a mother, tell the tale of their love-making in their presence. Accordingly, Subhadra, the sister of Krishna and Balaram, was placed as a sentinel on the doorway with a strict order to not let in her brothers under any pretext as long as the tale went. The mother sat in the center and the queens in a circle all around, and she proceeded to unfold the amorous tale. Now, the charm of the tale was irresistible, and Krishna and Balaram left the court and ran to the spot where they found Subhadra standing in their way. They asked her to stand aside and let them pass, but she let them know that Mother Rohini has bidden them not to enter at that time. They were not expected to know the reason why, but they must obey. So they obeyed and stood there listening to the delectable conversation of the mother of the queens. When the mother described the Ras Lila, the signs and symptoms of love became manifest on their physical frame. Streams of tears came down, and the sight of these brought tears to Subhadra's eyes. All the three were shedding tears, copious tears of love and joy. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath. Rohini began to explain the utter self-forgetfulness of Radha's love, and Balaram could contain himself no longer. He was lost, convulsed with indrawn passion, and his limbs themselves were drowned by the current of internal commotion that raged in his chest. Rohini went on to delineate the dalliance scene of Sri Krishna himself, and Sri Krishna himself was affected in a similar manner. His hands and feet were also shrunken in and indrawn. Subhadra was spellbound, rooted to the spot where she stood. The tree stood still and perfectly motionless, and Sudarshan itself was melted and lengthened out beside. Then came Narada, who could go anywhere he liked, on purpose to have a look at the Lord at Dwarka. He came to the court, where they told him the Lord was within his palace. He had the privilege of entering the harem, and so he entered, and coming to the doorway, saw this sight and stood stock still, for he had never seen anything like what met his eyes at that time. What could this mean? He thought, and reflected within himself for some time. But then, when the mother changed the theme and spoke of Radha's distress after the separation, they came back to themselves and all regained their former condition. Narada this time began to sing songs in praise of the Lord. The Lord was pleased and said he would grant any boon to Narada at that golden moment. Narada asked him to explain what he saw, and prayed that quadripartite form might be manifest on earth to be seen by all without any restriction. The Lord said with a smile, "So be it, my child. So it should be. For I have already given my word to King Indradyumna that I shall come down and manifest myself in wood at Nilachal, and to Devi Vimala that I should arrange for free indiscriminate distribution of the Mahaprasad to all without exception. So I shall fulfill the wishes of you three, all, and they should see me in the wood at Nilachal. Narada bowed low and took his leave, singing and playing on his veena as he went. This is the origin of the quadripartite manifestation of Lord Jagannath. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Sri Jagannath ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki Jai, Sri Jagannath ki Jai, Srimati Radharani ki Jai, Sri Radha, 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 Sri Radha, Radha, Radha. The old gentleman was delighted beyond measure to hear this beautiful exposition of the puzzling form of Lord Jagannath, and said, "Well, my child, this is very fine, yet I would ask you one thing. The hearing of the play of Vrindavan changed the features of Sri Krishna, Balaram, Subhadra, and Sudarshan. But how it is that Mother Rohini remained unchanged and the queens that hear her to the last? The reason is plain, but said similar. The reason is plain, said our Babaji. If we seek for it, it is Abhimana conceit that stands in the way. The mother who must necessarily be self-conscious cannot but think she is the superior of her child, and the queens are vainglorious of their great possessions, superior beauty, higher lineage, better accomplishments, and all the rest. It is self-conceit that prevented them from entertaining the pure, selfless love of the gopis in the heart of hearts. The old man was simply overjoyed, and he rushed forward to embrace Babaji Mahasaya and poured down his blessing on him. Babaji Mahasaya respectfully bent himself down as the crowd gave out cheers of Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Babaji Mahasaya, Hari Bol, Radharaman. Jai Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, Jai Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, Jai Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki Jai, Srimati Radharani ki Jai, Sri Radha Radha Radha. Next we will read chapter 11 on the way to Bengal. I hope you enjoyed the reading, and that this will inspire you to keep growing and growing and growing on your spiritual path. Thanks very much for watching. As always, give me a hand back. Give like, share, and comment on this video. For real. That helps me a ton. See you in the next. Sri Mahavira Radharamana ki Jai, Nitai Gauranga ki Jai, Jai Jai Sri Radheshyam.